let's talk about something we've all experienced, the party. The get-together, the casual hangout. It all seems pretty straightforward, right? But what if I told you there's a whole hidden layer of stuff going on right under the surface?
I mean, think about it. You've been there. You leave a party, and you realize you talked to a dozen people about traffic, or the weather, or how busy work is, but you didn't really talk about anything. It feels like you were just going through the motions.
Well, here's a wild idea. What if those conversations, all that small talk, isn't random at all? What if it's actually part of a script, a kind of unwritten rule book for how we're supposed to interact? That's the fascinating concept we're going to unpack today. And this isn't just some made-up theory. A psychologist named Berne actually gave it a name: party games. He described them as these social interactions that, they look totally casual on the outside, but underneath, they're being driven by these hidden psychological needs and motives. We're all playing them, whether we know it or not.
So, what do these games actually look like in the wild? Well, let's start with a classic. This is probably one of the most common games you'll find at any gathering. It's called Ain't It Awful?
Oh, you've heard this 1,000 times, right? This is the opening move. Someone just throws out a complaint. It seems harmless, just venting. But it's not just venting. It's an invitation to play the game.
The rules couldn't be simpler. Once that first complaint is out there, other players jump in. But here's the key. They don't offer solutions. No. They one-up the complaint with their own awful thing. You think traffic was bad? My flight got delayed 3 hours. And just like that, the whole group starts to connect over this shared cloud of negativity.
And this is where it gets really interesting. On the surface, it's just a bunch of people sharing frustrations. But the hidden motive, the psychological win, is that feeling of connection. You're creating a bond, a little tribe, built entirely on how miserable everything is.
And here's why we do it. Ain't It Awful is the perfect way to feel connected to people without any of the risks of, real intimacy. We're agreeing that something external is bad, so we don't have to talk about anything personal or vulnerable. It's connection on easy mode.
Now, this idea of using negativity as a social tool leads us right into another really common and maybe a little more pointed party game. This one is called Blemish.
Ugh, that stings, right? We've all been there. Someone's telling a great story or sharing something they're proud of, and the Blemish player just swoops in. They don't engage with the big idea. They hunt for the one tiny flaw.
The moves are quick and sharp. See, the Blemish player isn't really listening to understand. They're scanning. They're on the lookout for a tiny mistake, a mispronunciation, a wrong date, a typo, and the second they find it, they point it out. And in that moment, bam, they get their psychological reward.
Now, on the surface, they'll play it off like they're just being helpful or a stickler for details. But the hidden motive? It's almost always about feeling superior. It's a defense mechanism. By finding your little flaw, they get to feel better about themselves and totally avoid looking at their own stuff. So let's put these side by side because it makes the pattern so clear. Ain't It Awful is all about getting connection, but its real purpose is to avoid genuine intimacy. Blemish is all about feeling superior, but its real purpose is to avoid self-examination. See? They're both strategies to get a psychological need met without doing the really hard, vulnerable work.
And that's the common thread, isn't it? Whether we're judging the weather or judging someone's grammar, both games are built on a foundation of negativity. They're a substitute, a kind of cheap imitation of what we really want, which is an honest, meaningful connection with other people.
So all of this kind of brings the focus back to us, because learning about these games isn't about judging other people for playing them. It's really about becoming more aware of what we're doing in our own social lives. So, to wrap it all up, what we've seen is that so many of our casual chats are actually following these hidden scripts. We play Ain't It Awful to get a quick hit of connection. We play Blemish to get a quick hit of superiority. But the biggest takeaway, the most important part is this. Just knowing that these games exist is the first, most powerful step toward choosing to play a different. So the next time you're at a party and you hear someone kick things off with, "Ugh, this weather is awful," you'll see it. You'll see the game board laid out in front of you. You'll know what's happening, and you'll have a choice. Are you going to join in, or are you going to try to start a totally different conversation? Now that you know the rules, the next move is yours.